Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Warcraft 3 replay cast. Today it's a 1 vs 1 on Twisted Meadows between our blue human player ToD and our red undead player Sjow. And we're gonna speed it on up to the 8x mark, to the 2-minute point of the game, and all the heroes come out, all the good stuff starts to happen. I hope you guys had a really good holiday Christmas event.
Players' forces are under attack.
I certainly did. And we are off. And ToD gonna bring the militia to the rock golem camp, which is the usual strategy for a human on this map. And gets one really large creep camp out of the way. Hits your Archmage level 2 right off the bat. And gonna be Scourge Bone Chimes and a Tome of Agility +2. So a pretty decent start for the human there, and gaining a little bit of extra health on these militia, or rather just leeching health. And as you can see, this one creep camp gets you nearly level 2.5, so it's an excellent start for human. And gonna build a farm there at the Goblin Laboratory for later usage. And ToD just gonna be going with footmen, of course, for now. Haven't really teched anything just yet. Only a couple minutes into the game, and a whole mess of ghouls going on for Sjow right now. And Death Knight looking around for some peasants, perhaps, to murder with that Morn, excuse me, but not really gonna find any. No brute camp gonna go down there for Archmage. Wants to get level 3 as soon as possible, as that level 2 water elemental is significantly better than level 1. I think it's like 80% increased damage. You definitely want to get your Archmage to level 3 as soon as possible. No Overseer camp gonna go down for ToD. Meanwhile, his base under siege from the single Death Knight and a couple skeletal minions. The Overseer will go down here shortly. We'll see what item drops for him. Meanwhile, the Death Knight getting a couple kills here of militia. The Arcane Tower nearly up, and that'll force him on out of there. Circlet of Nobility for the Archmage, always a good item to get on any hero. And Arcane Tower shoos away the Death Knight. ToD on the way to Sjow's base, hitting that Halls of the Dead. Ghouls getting ready here, and looks like they might be moving out to creep, but gonna get interrupted and gonna force them back to defend the base. Archmage gets caught up in that Nerubian tower, gonna move him back a little bit, and the Acolytes in a bit of trouble. Undead, one of the most vulnerable races while upgrading their tier, because if they lose the Acolytes, of course you cannot remake them while upgrading tier, while no army can. The Acolytes really don't have anywhere to go. Militia for human, burrows for orc. Wisp can dispel and hide in the trees, if you will. But for undead, you don't really have too many options other than doing a ring around the rosy sort of situation, and loses 3 Acolytes there, so now only at 40% mining potential, but luckily that Halls of the Dead is already complete by the time it's all over, so I should be able to remake those Acolytes very quickly, but still will slow them down significantly. One of the drawbacks of undead.
A player's forces are under
And
attack.
ToD, I might be going after the Ogre Magi camp here. Only going to have a few footmen, but the help of the Water Elemental should be able to handle this. Is he going to bring up militia? Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Goblin Shredder going to be moving on in, so that could bring him those militia, and that's indeed exactly what he's going to do. So Goblin Shredder going to take over that lumber job for those peasants. Tome of Strength for the Archmage, and might get level 4 out of this. It's going to be pretty close. And the undead creeps. The Knoll Overseer camp gets a Circlet of Nobility on the Death Knight, now level 2, nearly level 3. And the Magi goes down. Clubs of attack +9. And very nice. Now plus 11 on the Archmage. Now a level 4 as well. And with that level 2 Brilliant Aura, we'll have enough mana to sport a whole mess of water elementals. And the Death Knight up to the other Knoll Overseer camp, but will be interrupted by ToD. And now those hits from the Archmage are pretty serious. Doing a nice extra chunk of damage. What's that about? Let's call that 33% increased damage on the Archmage. And not gonna do the math here while trying to cast. And Knoll Overseer will go down to ToD, and that will get him a Claws of Attack plus 6. And plus 17 damage now on the Archmage. Too bad he doesn't have a Blade Master, because that would be pretty incredible. Even one of the observers commenting on the items of the Archmage right now, and which is pretty legit. Scourge Bone Chimes and Claws of Attack, 15 damage of claws, an additional 2 from the circlet.
Town is under siege.
And a ghoul harassing some peasants here, but it looks like the tower should come up in time. Shouldn't lose any peasants. Maybe 1 or 2, but not going to be too big of a deal there. Lich out for the undead there as the second hero. And Frost Nova hits the footman. And one observer says mass griffins incoming, but not really seeing that just yet. Don't really see any signs of that, but we will have to see. And even one of the observers says, I don't think so, and I kind of say the same thing. Not really much evidence pointing to mass griffins just yet, but now that there are multiple spiders out on the map, I would say otherwise, as that would be a pretty silly move to run a bunch of griffins into a bunch of crypt fiends. And now Mountain King out for the second hero for ToD. Stormbolt hits a invulnerable Death Knight, and nothing will happen there. Now the expansion up and running. Couple idle peasants though, unfortunately, and there they go. I didn't think ToD would leave peasants idle very long. Forest Troll Warlord camp gonna go down for ToD. And meanwhile, back at the base of the undead, the Black Citadel completed, and still busting out those crypt fiends. Burrow on the way, and Lionhorn of Stormwind for the Mountain King, a relatively not good item, but still interesting as he has Brilliance Aura, Devotion Aura, Scourge Bone Chimes. So essentially Vampiric Aura, Devotion Aura, and Brilliance Aura on the human army, and I would say that is quite the army. I'm gonna add 1 armor to all of the units with that Lionhorn, 15%. Of course, Vampiric.
A player's force.
The Bone Chimes. And that mana regen with the Brilliant Orb. Menu of Health. Picked up by the Death Knight there. Ogre Magi gonna go down. And gonna be a Ring of Greater Selling for Sjow. And now ToD gonna go after his Ogre Magi camp. And looks like the Archmage is sitting this one out, perhaps. Nope. Maybe. Yes. Looks like he is sitting it out. And gonna leave all that experience to the Mountain King. A ton of strength there on the ground for the Mountain King, and a Ring of Regeneration for the Mountain King as well. And Ring of Regeneration might end up getting sold. I would not be surprised, as it's not the greatest item in the world. And now a Scroll of Regeneration, plus the Ring of Regeneration. That's a pretty fast regeneration. But combined with the Scourge Bone Charms, might not be too bad of a combination. And looks like Gauntlets of Ogre Strength from the Golem camp here for the Undead. And now ToD gonna sneak and grab this Golem camp from the Goblin Laboratory. And he definitely knows that Sjow is in the middle. Of course, this peasant here Definitely giving a tell. And we'll see what item drops for ToD. And it would be kind of humorous to have another Claws of Attack. And going to be a Tome of Intelligence +2 and a Sabi Mask. So the Mountain King will most likely sport that mask. And easily one of my favorite items in the game is the Sabi Mask. Force Pro Warlord gonna go down. Ring of even greater selling drops for the Death Knight. Actually, I never made up a name for the Ring of Protection +4 because it rarely ever drops. That is a very actually rare item. It rarely ever drops. So I'm gonna call it the Ring of Even Greater Selling. Ring of Greatest Selling. And a Goblin Sapper coming on in here. And 2 Goblin Sappers take out 3 Ziggurats. That will absolutely cripple Sjow. And let's take a look at Sjow. And he is at 47 over 20 right now. And that is definitely not good at all. An expansion coming up here for Sjow. So at least he will have some extra income to help support the Ziggurat construction. Rather, Ziggurat reconstruction. And ToD gonna town portal out of there. Was just about to call that. He was in a little bit of trouble. Too many ghouls, too many spiders trapped inside the base there, and so many towers back at the base of ToD, and level 2 masonry on the way as well. So that will make for some pretty fearsome towers. And rarely do I ever see anybody get actually level 3 advanced masonry, so we'll see if he decides to get that or not. He doesn't really have much funds at the moment, 106 gold, so I don't know if he'll actually go for that. It's not really necessary, but it's always good to have 8 armor on your towers with the extra health as well. And Death Knight is a formidable foe right now. Over 11 armor on the Death Knight, 11.6 armor combined with the Ring of Greater Selling and the Ring of Even Greater Selling. Paladin out for the 3rd hero for the human, level 1, so he's going to be quite vulnerable to Death Coil and Frost Nova combo. And the Paladin does take a Frost Nova, but did not take the Death Coil as well. Would have actually killed the Paladin right off the bat, but the Paladin will go down. Staff of Sanctuary can't quite keep him up. And ToD's Mountain King regenerating mana at demonic pace with the Sabi Mask combined with the Brilliance Aura level 2. Now the Archmage level 5. And reviving that Paladin, which should be really, really fast as it is only level 1. And Stormbolt, it's the Death Knight there. And ToD having a little bit of trouble with the tight spaces of the base at this particular section here, and actually not a lot of towers over here. They're all so far back they can't quite hit the undead. And Mountain King sports Potion of Invulnerability, so does the Death Knight. And Mountain King in a bit of trouble there, 120 health.
The town is under siege.
And the Paladin now revived, and Sjow will GG out, I think. That was interesting. I'm not actually even sure who lost that. Can't see ToD really GGing out. I think he may have. Interesting. And yeah, level 5, level 3 to level 1 versus level 4 to level 3. And I'm not sure why the game ended so quickly like that, as ToD mined way more gold. I think Sjow gave up due to the fact that he lost those 3 Ziggurats, having to remake those. He couldn't really make any units for quite a while. You'd actually have to lose units to make units, which is never really a good thing. But I hope you guys enjoyed the replay. I'm going to give that one to ToD. I do believe he was the winner. I will actually put an annotation in this to show who the winner is at the end here. So it's not going to be here now, of course, because I'm recording it live, but there will be an annotation at the end of this to say who the winner for sure was, because that was a very odd GG. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.